Welcome to IBD Podcast. Let's talk. This is your host Mohammad Afan. Today we're doing a special episode regarding financial literacy, and for that we have called a person who is doing a great work in financial literacy, Miss Sumal Jamil. Sumal, जो लोग आपको नहीं जानते उनको थोड़ा इंट्रोड्यूस कराते हैं. Who is Sumal Jamil and how are you working in the financial literacy space?
Okay, hi, I'm Sumal. I work at Oraan. It's a fintech startup. How I'm working it in the financial literacy sector is when I'm like a finance background person. No, not a teacher, but like I was a student of finance. I did ACCA. So like during that time, I remember it wasn't my first choice of career path, but that's how I ended up. Like that's where I ended up at. So something that I was always really passionate about learning myself was financial literacy. मुझे तो था कि मुझे financially independent होना है, लेकिन मैं कैसे हूँ? I didn't know any areas to invest in. मुझे investment का शौक था, but मुझे नहीं पता था मुझे कहाँ करना है. So I was like,
Achha, before we go into financial literacy, let's start introducing with yourself, with your background, with your education, and how you ended up where you are right now.
Okay. So बचपन से मैंने ये सोचा था मैं डॉक्टर बनूंगी.
Right.
It's like a
Typical
very
Pakistani.
different वो. हाँ, exactly. But मुझे like मैं कभी भी कोई ऐसा काम नहीं कर सकती जिसमें मेरा फुल वो हार्ट ना हो. तो जब मैं एंट्री टेस्ट की तैयारी कर रही थी तो मुझे रियलाइज हुआ कि दिस इज नॉट समथिंग आई वांट टू डू. बट आई हैड हर्ड फ्रॉम like a relative कि ACCA is something, or I remember her like everyone telling me that this is something very hard to pass, like you cannot do it.
ACCA?
Yeah, like people were like this is very like you fail exams.
अच्छा.
बहुत बार फेल करने के बाद आप फिर पास होते हो. मैं अब तो मैं यही करूंगी, मैं करके दिखाऊंगी. तो फिर मैंने कहा कि बस यही करना है मुझे. तो मैंने किया और मैंने फर्स्ट अटेम्प्ट में सारे क्लियर कर दिया.
सारे पेपर आपने फर्स्ट टाइम पे?
Yeah, I did not fail.
अच्छा.
So it was like a challenge for me. So I think that's why I enjoyed doing it. And like even though मुझे नहीं पता था फाइनेंस के बारे में कुछ भी, फाइनेंस फील्ड के बारे में, but I did it. And like it's like a proud moment for me कि मैंने उसको फर्स्ट अटेम्प्ट में क्लियर कर दिया. So उसके बाद फिर everyone said कि वो ऑडिट फर्म में जाते हैं. Because that's like
typical path.
हाँ, exactly, known typical path for a finance professional. But I was like कि मुझे ऑडिट फर्म में नहीं जाना क्योंकि मुझे नहीं इंटरेस्ट ऑडिट में इंटरेस्ट नहीं है, मुझे नहीं करना वो. So I explored corporates और I landed up at a corporate traineeship जो ACCA की traineeship होती है एक. Then I worked at another corporate for 2 years. उसके बाद फिर I moved to a fintech startup space because so how I came to know about Oraan was कि मैं इसी तरह like I was researching about financial literacy platforms in Pakistan कि कुछ मुझे कहीं से कुछ सीखने को मिल जाए, but मुझे नहीं मिला. But I remember कि उस वक्त Oraan was doing these financial literacy sessions जो अभी भी करता है, और that's how I got to know about Oraan. तो I was like wow, this is एक तो ये women led है और ये लोग financial literacy sessions भी करते हैं, which is something that I'm really interested in. तो I was like कि मुझे यहाँ पे काम करना है. उस वक्त मैंने नहीं अप्लाई किया था, maybe I was out of the country, I don't remember exactly. But when I finally decided to switch from my corporate job, तो Oraan was the first thing that came to my mind, और मैंने सिर्फ वहीं पे अप्लाई किया और कहीं पे नहीं किया.
अच्छा.
हाँ, तो बस
और हो भी गया. काफी इंटरेस्टिंग है. तो आपने काफी दफा फाइनेंशियल लिटरेसी बात की है, that is what motivated you in this field. But let's talk about whether it's motivated you or not, but let's talk about the general financial landscape. How do you think this financial literacy in general, what's this landscape like? You said that you were not able to find a platform where you could learn to invest. So how do you rate the current landscape here?
So what I think is there's a lot of potential. जब मैंने first time search किया था उससे लेके अब तक बहुत ज़्यादा improvement आ गई है. I would say a lot of platforms are trying to do it. A lot of fintechs are also trying to create this educational space for finance. But I do think कि जब हम financial literacy की बात करते हैं, there's a lot of gap in terms of कि like we cater to certain target market that may already know about certain things. Like उसके ऊपर वो build up हो रहा है, financial literacy build up हो रही होती है. But what I want to do And where I think the gap is ke, like, why not start from the very bottom? Like, why not start from the very basics? Like, I believe I'm a very strong believer of the fact ke school level से ही ना ये सिखाना चाहिए कि basic money management क्या होती है, tax file कैसे करते हैं, why is it necessary to do it, and like
So ये अभी current landscape पे आप you don't see that
I
currently
don't see
happening,
it at all.
right? So
Schools
you
में तो बिल्कुल भी नहीं, college level, even university level पे नहीं,
True.
पे भी नहीं होता. I really think कि इसमें बहुत ज़्यादा potential है करने को, बहुत कुछ है करने को, and I hope that we're able to do it.
Right, so I found you through Moneyverse.
Yeah.
Right, actually you found me.
Yeah, I did.
That was kind of interesting how you found.
Because I saw your post in one of the groups, and I was like, this is exactly the kind of content I want in Moneyverse. So I was like, yeah, let's invite you over.
नहीं, मैंने जहाँ आपने मुझे देखा था वहाँ मैं और भी चीजें मैंने कई दफा देखी और probably not received well with the audience there as well. But yeah, मतलब you found me and eventually then I brought you in for the show. But I wanted to ask you, how did the Moneyverse idea come? Your team at Oraan, and you're running it. So how did that come about?
So Oraan has Oraan has two services, and one of them is Study Now, Pay Later, which is like targeted towards young people. It's basically educational financing. So उस वक्त हमें like हमारा idea ये था to bring in that product was कि we will create financial wellness for the young. तो हमने सोचा कि why not also teach them and also give them a platform where they can learn more than just the service that we're providing. Because जो हम अपनी दूसरी audience, जो women audience है उसके लिए करते हैं financial literacy sessions, why not give the young people also the chance to learn and cater the literacy around their understanding. Like maybe I was their age not that long ago, so mujhe, like, I know exactly what they might be going through and what they would want to learn and how they would want to learn, because traditional financial literacy is very typical, and how I would understand as maybe a 16-year-old or a 20-year-old would be very different. Like, I would want someone to explain to me कि अगर SBP मैंने 20% interest rate कर दिया है तो उसका मुझ पे क्या impact है? Like, as a normal human being, how does that impact me?
Right.
I want to, like, that's how the idea of Moneyverse came into being. We were first, पहले हम ये सोचे थे कि it will be a community where just our जो हमारे customers होंगे वहाँ पे सिर्फ वो होंगे. Then we were like, why? Like, why not open it up to all the people in that age group? और फिर इसी तरह से हुआ, and then like we brainstormed with the team. नाम शाम सोचा बड़ा, उसमें 2-3 दिन लगाए मिलके सबने नाम सोचा और अभी तक हम like we keep iterating it कि हम उसमें किस तरह से ऐसे पोस्ट डालें और ऐसी चीजें डालें जो like people not just interact with, they actually learn from it. And whenever, because Facebook, I feel like it's dying, but it's also the kind of place where people come with a purpose. Like, if they have a question in mind, they want to ask from people like them, they'll just go on Facebook, किसी भी group में, relevant group में डाल के questions पूछेंगे and they'll get their answers. और या कुछ उनको कुछ specific share करना होगा तो वो वहाँ पे जाके करेंगे. So I think that's where we just keep thinking कि how do we make Moneyverse exactly that? Like, the platform for them, for young people to come in and ask their finance-related questions, money-related questions.
Right, so you talk about the being the group, and ऐसा post डाले जिससे लोग engage रहे. So how do you make sure? मतलब what do you think? मतलब what's the learning process? What's the thinking process? Or the creative process to go with how do we make sure that the group engage on those?
Okay, so पहले तो मैं ये करती थी, like हम पूरी टीम ये करते थे कि we would like 1-2 हफ्ते पहले से हम पूरा content plan करते थे 1 हफ्ते का.
अच्छा.
Like, weekly plans होते थे हमारे, पूरा content पहले से लिख लिया और वो ना. But उससे हमें realize हुआ कि we're spending a lot of time on planning and not like it's not coming out as natural. So what I do now is कि like कोई भी conversation, like I'm just having a normal conversation with my peers and they mention something related to money or something. I'll just go and write up a post around it and just post it. Or like it's more natural now because वो क्योंकि जो अभी हो रहा है उसी के बारे में जब बात हो लाइक उस ग्रुप पे भी बात हो रही है, फिर कम्स एट मोर नेचुरल एंड मोर ऑन पॉइंट देन अगर हम 2-3 हफ्ते पहले से प्लान करें, बिकॉज ऑब्वियसली द लैंडस्केप इज changing constantly, everything is changing constantly, so we should keep up with that. And the only way to keep up with that is like naturally.
Right, so that's quite interesting. So मतलब आपने ग्रुप बना लिया, आपने एंगेज भी रख लिया. हम करें कॉमन मिसकॉन्सेप्शंस होते हैं लोगों के रिगार्डिंग फाइनेंशियल लिटरेसी इन जनरल, इन्वेस्टमेंट्स को लेकर, सेविंग्स को लेकर, बीइंग बैंकेबल को लेकर. मतलब how do you, what's the common misconceptions that you have seen and how do you deal with that?
I think the misconceptions would be like just to start off with, it becomes very overwhelming. Like where do we start?
True.
You know, like, and a lot of things I believe कि हम लोग बहुत ज़्यादा लोगों की बातों में आ जाते हैं और हम like इंटरेस्ट रेट्स और इवन जो शरिया कंप्लायंस का कॉन्सेप्ट होता है, इट्स वेरी हम समझते हैं कि यू नो इट्स हमने तो बस नाम रखी है एंड ऑल दैट, बट दे डोंट अंडरस्टैंड दैट देयर इज अ होल बोर्ड बिहाइंड थिंग्स लाइक दीस, और यू नो दीस आर अ लॉट ऑफ मिसकंसेप्शंस एंड आई थिंक वी नीड टू अंडरस्टैंड कि अगर कोई चीज है तो वो क्यों है, एंड आई थिंक that's where the financial literacy around like right now should focus on कि we go behind things and we understand them. Because abhi, so for example, abhi agar aisa hoga कि oh this maybe a cryptocurrency is doing really well, you should invest in it, and people will just go and invest because kisi ne keh diya. Did we do our own research? Like I think this is what we should be doing. We should encourage people to do their research, and I also do this with my content. मैं जो है वो कोई भी content डालती हूँ, एक तो मैं research करती हूँ, I ask people जो exactly उस एज ग्रुप में होते हैं कि मुझे एक्सप्लेन करो, if you know this, मुझे एक्सप्लेन करो कि ओके इंटरेस्ट रेट मुझे कैसे इफेक्ट करेगा. तो हाउ डज इट अफेक्ट इट? हाँ, जो मैं बताती हूँ, जैसे वो मुझे एक्सप्लेन करेंगे देन आई विल राइट इट इन एग्जैक्टली दैट वे कि बिकॉज जैसे वो मुझे एक्सप्लेन करेंगे ना, दैट विल बी वेरी सिंपल, वेरी बेसिक, नॉट बुकिश. तो अगर वो मुझे ऐसे conversation में explain कर सकते हैं, तो I can write it in that sense and people younger than them can understand exactly that, you know. And
but yeah, matlab interest rate has a huge impact on our lives, and why it is one of the conditions of the IMF. How does it affect our economy? So there are a lot of factors that it does affect the interest rate, and that's something that the audience need to understand. At the same time, consumers need to feel you know, the interest rate might look favorable right now, and they would feel you know, we want to deposit our money there, and we saw the recent numbers, the highest surge in participants depositing their money in interest rate account did rise, but then the inflation is around 40%. So you know, does it really make an impact to your economy? In fact, you're losing money out.
Yeah.
So that's quite interesting, you know, why that's the reason why financial literacy is important. You know, even though interest rate across the world might look favorable to invest in, but the inflation rate is even going to be higher. So are you really making an upside or a downside? That's something that is very interesting that people need to know, and that's the reason why you and me and everyone around our ecosystem is working towards financial literacy. And and thank you for doing that. So you know, moving on, so let's talk about your work at Oraan. So how is your work at Oraan going? What do you do at Oraan apart from running Moneyverse?
So I am in the service delivery team for Study Now Pay Later. So basically, because it's a new product at Oraan, so it's a very small team, and I'm running the operation side of it, where like customers coming in and unki application processing and all that, and also the product marketing side, like collaborating with the marketing team on the Study Now Pay Later and customer research. We do go to the university campuses and talk to students. What do they think, or hum kaise can we make this product their very make it market कि वो उन तक पहुंचे और वो उसको समझें जैसे हम समझाना चाह रहे हैं, you know.
Right.
Because obviously with a new product you really have to figure out कि उसको market
so I always wanted to ask, how does Study Now Pay Later really works? मतलब क्या करता है? You give them loan and you say you are Sharia compliant. So if you give them loan and they study out, so after they graduate, what is the profit rate for the company, matlab, let's just say it's not an interest based, so how does the company profit it out?
So there's a misconception there that I would like to clear.
Huh?
So it's like this is something that we're struggling with. When you say study now, pay later, people confuse it कि later कितना later. You know? What we do is कि we break it down within the semester.
अच्छा.
So they can get
installments में.
Yeah, so they can get. It's like buy now, pay later. Buy now, pay later में आप बहुत अरसे बाद तो नहीं pay कर रहे होते. आप वही चीज like monthly में pay कर रहे होते. It's exactly like that. You just pay it within the semester in monthly like installments, and you can get it every semester. So it's like this is where we're struggling with. Later, kitna later? and yes, we do have a service charge for it. So obviously it's a profit. It's not interest at all. इसमें भी हम काफी struggle कर रहे होते हैं कि Sharia compliant है, मैं बताना पड़ता है कैसे है वो, like people argue कि नहीं ये हो नहीं सकता.
हाँ मतलब क्यों, मतलब इंटरेस्ट जब लोन लेते हैं तो लोगों को यही आता है, इंटरेस्ट आता है.
Exactly. तो फिर हम बोलते हैं कि हमारा ये Sharia advisory board है, you can contact them directly और वो आपको explain कर देंगे.
Right. So Sumal, let's talk about मतलब you put in post regarding interest rate, ये एक नई चीज थी. मतलब how do you keep yourself updated? Tax laws, GST 25% होने वाला है गाड़ियों पे, 1400cc पे, ये सारी चीजें हैं जो हमें Facebook पे तो नजर आ जाती है. But generally where do you get the information? आपको कहाँ से मिलती है? लोग कैसे ढूंढ सकते हैं information? कौन से ग्रुप्स को, कौन सी पोस्ट को, कौन से पेजेस को फॉलो करके हम ये इन्फॉर्मेशन हासिल करें?
So I would honestly say I do struggle with that a lot. क्योंकि there's no one place जहाँ से मुझे information मिले. मैं like I do like Twitter पे मिल जाती है, a lot of discussion come around, trending हो जाती है इस तरह की चीज, अब कुछ भी होता है. और कुछ pages Instagram पे होते हैं. I recently came across this page. It's called Finance Wolf or something. It's Pakistan based. Something Wolf.
हाँ I've seen that. So
उससे कुछ बहुत थोड़ी बहुत information मिलती है. Pro Pakistani वहाँ से information मिलती है. But it's also like काफी चीजें when they come up in conversation तो वहाँ से. And I do with Moneyverse, I think कि अभी because it's very new, it's only been 4 months. और वहाँ पे जो audience है we've age restricted it for 16 to 26 year olds ताकि हम because ताकि हम जो है वो because age उससे ऊपर वाली age के हैं, they probably are in a place where they can understand a lot of things. And
not really वैसे.
I mean कुछ हद तक. But and B, why we've age restricted it because कि हम जो जिस तरह से explain करें ना, it's then targeted towards this age group. Like उस language में उस तरह उस level पे जाके we explain things. So it's all like and besides financial literacy, we also do things around career building and skill building because मुझे like हम ये believe करते हैं कि financial literacy is not just limited to finances because your career will also ultimately affect your finances, you know, and how do you grow your money is also one of the ways. So how do you grow your career will also impact how you grow your money,
right?
You know, eventually how much more you earn. So like this is like I would say it's more around financial wellness, तो उसमें वो सब चीजें cover हो जाती हैं. So yeah, I do struggle a lot with कि मुझे कहाँ से information चाहिए, इसलिए मैंने Moneyverse के लिए मैं बहुत ज़्यादा passionately काम करती हूँ कि किसी और को struggle ना हो.
I've seen your passion, I think, and so what advice would you give someone who is starting out with personal finance?
सबसे पहले तो do your research. कोई भी आपको कुछ भी बताए, even if I am telling someone something, please do your research. Like थोड़ी बहुत basic चीजें like do a simple Google search. If you just hear like okay mutual funds, what are mutual funds? Go do a Google search. कहीं ना कहीं से कुछ ना कुछ information मिलेगी. And उसके बाद फिर then ask questions. Like ask questions. अगर कोई आपको कुछ बता रहा है, ask them कि why, how, और मैं कैसे करूँ, you know, ताकि वो फिर because sometimes people are telling you something and maybe they're doing it for you to be able to learn. लेकिन क्या पता उनको नहीं पता कि आपके जहन में क्या क्वेश्चन आ रहा है. एंड यू शुड आस्क क्वेश्चंस ताकि फिर वो आपको उस तरह से एक्सप्लेन करें. लाइक इफ आई एम टेलिंग समवन अबाउट कि इन्वेस्ट इन म्यूचुअल फंड्स एंड समबडी इज नॉट आस्किंग मी मैं कैसे करूं, तो क्या पता मैं उसको एक्सप्लेन ना कर पा रही हूँ कि वो कैसे करे और वो फिर भी कंफ्यूज हो. उसको अब पता चल गया कि म्यूचुअल फंड्स में इन्वेस्ट करना चाहिए, लेकिन कैसे करना चाहिए, वो कहाँ से शुरू करे. तो आई थिंक रिसर्च, आस्क क्वेश्चंस एंड दैट्स हाउ यू विल लर्न. एंड ऑल्सो adapt that mindset that you need to learn because this is a necessity and this will empower you Like eventually it will empower you, or start now. Just start now.
Acha. Right. Acha, Sumal, we have some rapid fire questions that I wanted to ask you. So, one word. Financial, acha, education system in Pakistan.
It needs to improve.
Acha, crypto.
You need to learn.
Oraan.
I love it.
Acha, Moneyverse.
It's my passion.
Fintech.
There's a lot of revolution going on.
Financial literacy.
Need of the hour.
IB today.
It's doing great job.
All right, Sumal, thank you for coming in. And I love the conversation. I hope all those who watch the conversation, they love the conversation as well. Thank you for watching. Meet you in the next episode. Allah Hafiz.